The poor girl only had $5 for a blind date. The single dad CEO at the next table watched her and she counted the crumpled bills one last time under the table, her fingers trembling slightly, her heart already sinking before the night had truly begun. $5. That was all she had left to her name. Outside, the city lights shimmered like promises she had never been allowed to keep, and inside the small cafe, she sat straight-backed, pretending she belonged there, pretending this blind date was just another ordinary moment in an ordinary life. But nothing about her life had ever been ordinary, and tonight felt like a final test she wasn't sure she could survive. Before the story unfolds any further, take a moment to pause. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that happen between strangers, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Diaries. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Her name was Lena, and she had learned early that survival meant silence. Raised in a cramped apartment with peeling walls and unpaid bills stacked like accusations, she learned to stretch meals, stretch smiles, and stretch hope until it almost broke. She worked 2 jobs now, one cleaning offices before sunrise and another at a laundromat late into the night. This blind date was not a dream of romance but an act of desperation. A coworker had insisted, saying the man was kind, stable, and serious. Lena had agreed because saying no felt like surrendering to a life where nothing ever changed. She had chosen the cafe carefully, a modest place with soft lighting and affordable prices. Still, as she scanned the menu, her chest tightened. Even the cheapest drink would leave her with nothing. She ordered water, forcing herself to smile at the server, hoping no one would notice. Around her, laughter floated from other tables, couples leaning close, hands brushing, lips clearly moving forward. At the table beside hers sat a man who looked completely out of place in such a humble setting. He wore simple clothes, but there was a quiet authority in his posture, the kind that came from years of responsibility. His eyes carried a depth that spoke of exhaustion and purpose intertwined. This was Ethan, though Lena did not know his name yet. To the world, he was a powerful CEO, but to himself, he was simply a single father trying to hold his life together after loss. Ethan had come to the cafe not for business or pleasure, but because it reminded him of a simpler time. Since his wife's passing, he often found himself drawn to places that felt human, places where success did not matter. His young daughter waited at home with the nanny, and guilt followed him everywhere like a shadow. Tonight, he planned to drink his coffee, think quietly, and leave. But then he noticed Lena. It wasn't her appearance that caught his attention first, though she was undeniably gentle-looking, with tired eyes that held too much history. It was the way she looked at the menu and then away, the way she folded her hands together as if praying no one would ask questions. Ethan recognized that look immediately. He had seen it on his mother's face years ago, back when money was tight and pride was all they had. As minutes passed, Lena's date still hadn't arrived. She checked her phone repeatedly, the glow reflecting her growing embarrassment. Her stomach twisted with hunger and humiliation. When the server returned to ask if she wanted anything else, Lena shook her head, cheeks burning. She wondered if she should leave before the man arrived, before she had to explain why she couldn't afford even a cup of tea. Ethan watched quietly, something stirring in his chest that surprised him. He wasn't a man who interfered in other people's lives. But tonight, something felt different, like a small moment demanding attention. When Lena's date finally arrived, relief quickly turned into dread. The man barely glanced at her, already irritated, already disappointed. His body language spoke of judgment, of entitlement. Lena felt herself shrink, every insecurity rising to the surface. She tried to stay polite, tried to be present, but the imbalance was obvious. When the server came to take the order, the man ordered freely, barely acknowledging the price. Lena ordered water again, her voice barely audible. The judgment in his eyes cut deep. Ethan felt a tightness in his chest he could not ignore. He saw Lena's shoulders tense, saw her nod apologetically for things that weren't her fault. He thought of his daughter, of the world she would grow up in, and of the kind of man he wanted to be. The date didn't last long. The man excused himself under the pretense of a phone call and never returned. Lena sat frozen for a moment, staring at the empty chair across from her, humiliation washing over her in waves. She gathered her bag, fighting tears, calculating if she could afford the bus ride home or if she would have to walk. That was when Ethan stood up. He didn't approach her with grand gestures or pity. He simply offered presence. His calm, respectful demeanor gave Lena space to breathe. For the first time that night, she felt seen, not judged. She didn't know who he was, only that his eyes carried understanding rather than curiosity. They spoke quietly, not about money or status, but about life, exhaustion, and resilience. Lena found herself opening up in ways she rarely allowed. She spoke of work, of responsibility, of dreams she had folded away to survive. Ethan listened, truly listened, something few people ever did. Time passed unnoticed. The cafe grew quieter, the night deeper. Ethan insisted on paying for the meal she never had, framing it not as charity but as kindness, the kind that expected nothing in return. Lena hesitated, pride wrestling with hunger and gratitude, but something in his sincerity eased her resistance. As they parted ways, Lena felt something shift inside her. Not hope exactly, but possibility. She walked home lighter, her step steadier, her heart warmer than it had been in years. In the days that followed, Ethan couldn't forget her. Not because of romance, but because of the strength she carried so quietly. Through a series of small, intentional encounters, their paths crossed again. He learned more about her life, her work ethic, her compassion. Lena, in turn, saw beyond Ethan's calm exterior into the loneliness he carried, the devotion he had to his daughter, the weight of responsibility he bore without complaint. Change did not come suddenly or magically. But it came honestly. Ethan offered Lena an opportunity, not a handout, but a job within one of his community outreach programs, something aligned with her values and abilities. Lena hesitated, afraid of hope, afraid of disappointment. But she accepted, deciding that growth required courage. Months passed. Lena worked tirelessly, learning, contributing, discovering strengths she never knew she had. Her confidence grew slowly, like dawn breaking after a long night. She moved into a small apartment of her own, bought groceries without fear, and even saved a little. Most importantly, she began to believe that her life was allowed to be more than survival. Ethan watched this transformation with quiet pride. His daughter grew fond of Lena, drawn to her warmth and gentleness. Their connection deepened naturally, rooted in respect rather than rescue. Lena never forgot where she came from, and Ethan never forgot why he noticed her that night. Before we reach the end, if this story touched something inside you, if it reminded you of your own struggles or someone you love, please take a moment now to comment below. Share what kindness and second chances mean to you. Your words matter more than you know. One evening, Lena returned to the same cafe, this time not counting bills under the table. She ordered what she wanted, not extravagantly, but freely. She looked around and smiled, remembering the girl she once was. She understood now that dignity wasn't about how much money you had, but about how you treated yourself and others. Life didn't become perfect. Challenges still came, hardships still tested her. But she no longer faced them alone, and she no longer believed she deserved less. As the story closes, remember this: sometimes, the smallest moments carry the greatest turning points. A quiet observation. A gentle act. A stranger who chooses kindness when it would be easier to look away. If this story warmed your heart, inspired you, or reminded you that compassion can change lives, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindness Diaries. Your support helps spread stories that remind us all to look closer, care deeper, and believe again.